Hello, crocheters! Welcome everyone to the Mary Tejidos channel. I am Mary Tejidos, and it's a pleasure for me to share with you a new tutorial for today's masterclass. I have prepared the detailed step-by-step for this modern and elegant bag, crocheted with fantasy stitch, and we will mainly be working with the centered single crochet stitch. It's a comfortable, spacious, and durable bag for daily use, with a lot of style and, above all, easy to make. I will teach you the technique to attach the crocheted slider to the bag in a practical and different way, which you can also use in other projects. We will work the base with centered stitch from scratch, and we will also make these beautiful braided handles with Turkish stitch. I hope you stay with me until the end of the class, enjoy the process, and put it into practice. If so, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. It's very important to me that you share this content on all your social media so that our community can continue to grow and we can reach people with emotional and therapeutic needs. Remember that with knitting, the world is better. Now, let's go to the list of materials, followed by the step-by-step instructions. We will work with the following materials: scissors, measuring tape, 2 rings, a clasp with a diameter of 2.5 centimeters, 4 half-moon rings of 2 centimeters, and a personalized plate with the name of the channel. This one is optional: 2 sliders for the base, a heart-shaped clasp, heartwork, stitch markers, a 30-centimeter long slider, and 90 centimeters of chain, knitting needle of 5.5.5 millimeters. This will be our main needle. Knitting needle of 3.3.5. Will we use it to hide yarn ends? The hardware and accessories are from your online store, your supplies. In the video description, I will leave the link to your shopping page. I will be working with Pluma t-shirt yarn. This is factory-made t-shirt yarn with a strand 3 centimeters wide in baby blue, and it's a skein of t-shirt yarn. If you're interested in getting this material, I'll leave the link to their shopping page in the video description. You'll also find there the exact amount of material we're going to use for this project. We're going to start by working on the base of the bag. We'll make it oval-shaped using centered single crochet, but before we begin, let's leave a strand about 90 centimeters long. Later on, I'll show you how we're going to use it, and if you make the base a little bigger, remember to leave a longer strand. The first stitch we're going to make will be a slip stitch. We take the hook with the tip facing down, pull on the yarn, see how a little loop forms here on the hook, adjust where the yarn crosses, now yarn over and pull through that little loop. We pull the short strand and see, here it is, the knot is already tightened. We can adjust the size by pulling the strand that comes from the skein. We close it a little. Here we have a loop on the hook. Now we're going to work on chains. Yarn over and pull through this. We have a loop on the hook, yarn over and slip through. This way, we're going to make chains until we reach number 17. Complete the 17 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And they measure 15 centimeters long. We start the first round with a single crochet, inserting the needle in the center of the chain, picking up the top loop. Here. We insert the needle in the center of the second chain. This is number 16, and the first chain, number 17, will be our turning chain. We insert the needle in the center of the second chain, yarn over, pull through here, bring it up to the height of the loop on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops. Here we are making our first single crochet. We insert the hook into the center of the next chain, yarn over and bring it up to the height of the loop on the hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops, then insert the needle in the center of the next chain. In the center of the next one. And we are going to continue working the single crochets this way until we reach the last chain. I reached the last chain. Here we are going to make a triple increase, which means 3 stitches in that same stitch. To give the base an oval shape, we pass the needle here. Look, here we have the slip knot. We're not going to touch that one. Instead, we're going to go through the middle of the chain here. We pass the needle through the center of the chain, yarn over, and lift it up to the height of the little loop that's on the hook. If you're wondering, Mari, why we need to lift the small loop to the same height as the one on the hook, so that all your stitches end up the same size, this is the way to make sure they all look even. So, here we have 2 loops. We yarn over and pull through both. Here, in this first stitch of the increase, we're going to place a marker so we know that's where we started. We insert the needle again into that space. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and here we finish the stitch. We insert the hook again into the same stitch. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and finish the stitch. We place a marker here on the last one. We've finished the increases on this side. We have 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to work the stitches on this side. And here you can see 2 strands. Look here, 1 and 2. We insert the needle. Notice that here we have the first strand, and here you'll find the second strand. Look here where you can see it. You're going to pass the needle under this second strand. And the stitch should be facing front to front. If you turn the chain, you'll be able to see the first strand here and the second strand on this side. The needle should go through here. We pass the needle under the second strand. And here we make stitch A. We pass the needle here. Under the next one. We make the stitch. We go under the second strand here. And we make stitch A. We work single crochet until we reach the last one. I reached the last stitch. Look here where you can see the chain, the first loop, and here at the bottom, the second loop. At this point, we're going to make an increase just like we did before. But here we already have the first stitch, which means we're only going to work 2 stitches here. Here is the first loop, and here is the second loop. Look at this point. We already have this first stitch. Here, we're only going to work 2 stitches. We pass the hook through and make the first increased stitch here. We place a marker on this one. We pass the hook through that space. Pull up a loop. Yarn over and complete the stitch. With this, we complete the 3 stitches of the increase. 1, 2, and 3. Now we are going to finish the round. Pull up this loop. And we pass the hook under the first chain. Look, this one is located at the first stitch of the increase. So we pass the hook from back to front under that chain. We take the reserved loop, place it on the hook, and move it to the back. We finish the first round of the base with a total of 34 stitches. Please check. 1 through 7, 1, 2, 3.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
13, 14, 15.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 stitches. We are not going to count the strand you see here because this is the closing one. So we work 14 stitches on each side. And in the corners, we make 3 stitches in each corner. Now we start round number 2. And here we will begin working with centered single crochet stitches. We position ourselves here where we made the closure. See how we take the strand to the back. Here's what we'll do. Insert the hook into the center of the stitch,
Aqui.
making sure it comes out at the back, between the two strands under the little ridge. Here, we tighten this strand. Here. Make sure it's nice and short. We go through the center of the stitch. Ensure it comes out under the small loop, between the two strands. Take the yarn, bring it forward, and lift it up. Here, you're going to remove the hook. And you're going to pass the needle from front to back, also through the reserved loop. Take the yarn and pull it through both. Here, we've made the first stitch of the second row. And since this stitch corresponds to the increase from the previous row, in this second row, for the increases, we'll work a sequence of 2 stitches into each stitch. So in this stitch, we need to make an increase, which means we're going to make another stitch. We insert the needle into that stitch. Take the yarn. Lift up and close. We place a marker at this point. We already have the first increase here. We're going to work on this side, centered single crochet. We pass the needle through the center of the stitch between these 2 strands. Ensure it comes out below the ridge, between the 2 strands. They give height and close the stitch. They go through the center of the next one. This is how the centered stitches look. We are going to continue working 1 stitch in the center of each one until we get here to the stitch before the marker. We've reached the stitch before the marker. We go through the center of the stitch. We yarn over. We pull up a loop. We yarn over and pull through both loops. Now we're going to work where the increases are. We remove the marker. We locate the center of the stitch. These first stitches will always be nice and tight. Look here where you can see it. We pass the needle between those 2 strands, always making sure it comes out the back. Under the little ridge. We yarn over. They raise it and close the stitch. We place the marker on that stitch again. We pass the needle through that stitch again to complete the increase. We close. We have 1 and 2. We locate the next point. Look at it here, under the chain stitch. We go between the 2 strands. We make the first stitch here, 1. We pass the needle through again. We give it height, and we close it. We have 2 stitches in the same stitch, and this would be the second increase. We remove the next marker. We find the center of the stitch here. Look here where the chain is. Here's the stitch below and the 2 strands. We go through the center. We yarn over. We pull up a loop, and we make the first stitch. We insert the hook into that stitch again. And here we finish the last increase. We place the marker at that stitch. We finish the increases on this side, making 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to work the 14 stitches in the center here. We insert the hook into the center of the stitch. We pull up a loop and close the stitch. Insert the hook into the center of the next stitch. We make the last stitch to complete all 14. Now we are going to make the increases on this side. We remove the marker. We insert the hook into the center of the stitch. And here we make the increase. 1. We insert the needle again. And 2. Here we make the last increase. Look where the stitch is. We go through the middle of the 2 strands. We make the first stitch. We pass the needle through again. And we finish the second stitch here. We're going to close this second round. We give height to this little ear. And we pass the needle under the chain where the marker is. We go from back to front. Look, this is the first complete chain, and this one is located on the second stitch. The first stitch is this one. Look at it here where you can see it, but this stitch is not complete. We complete it when we do the closing, because look closely, it's missing the chain that goes on top. That's why we can't close the rounds at this stitch. We always do it at the next stitch because that one is complete. So we go from back to front. Under the chain stitch, we place the reserved loop on the hook. And we take it to the back. Here we tighten it. We open it a little bit. And look, we've already completed that first stitch with the loop that's on top, which acts as a chain stitch. So here, we already have the first and the second stitch. And with this, we finish round number 2. Here, we've made a total of 40 stitches. Every time you finish a round, keep adjusting the stitches so the base settles into place and starts taking shape. Here, we work in the center, 14 stitches on each side. And in the increases, we've made 6 stitches. Please check. Now, we're going to do the third and final round of the base. We go to where we made the join. And we're going to pass the hook through the center of the stitch. Where we took the yarn to the back, we go through the center. Here, it should come out between the 2 strands. And now we're going to do it. Thank you. We place the reserved loop on the hook. We adjust. We're done. We take the yarn. We go through all of them. We add a little bit of height here. We yarn over and close the stitch. Here we have the first stitch of the third round. And here in the increases, we're going to work a sequence of single stitch, increase stitch. Single stitch, increase stitch. We make a single stitch here. And notice that the stitch next to it is part of the increase from the second round. So in this stitch, we're going to work 2 stitches, which is the first increase. We go through the center of the stitch. We yarn over. We pull up a loop and close. We finish by inserting the needle again into the center of that same stitch. And that's it. And here we make the second stitch. So we have a single stitch, which is just 1 stitch, and the increase, which is 2 stitches in the same stitch. So here on this side, we're going to work the 14 center stitches until we reach the stitch before the marker. Then I finish the 14 center stitches. We're going to work the last increases on this side. We remove the marker, insert the needle in the center, and here we're going to make a single stitch. In the next stitch, an increase. 1, we insert the needle again. And 2 in the next stitch, a single stitch. Here in the next one. An increase. In the next single stitch. And here, where the marker is, we make an increase. 1, we pass the needle again. And 2, we complete the increases on this side by making 9 stitches working single crochet. Increase stitch, single crochet, increase stitch, single crochet, increase stitch. Now we make the 14 center stitches. We make the last stitch here. We finished the 14 center stitches here. Now we're going to work the last increases. We remove the marker. Here we're going to work a sequence. Single stitch, increase stitch, single stitch, increase stitch. See that we finished the sequence correctly because the first stitch we made is a single stitch and the next one is an increase stitch. So here in the center, we work a single stitch. In the next increase, 1, we go through again. And we complete the second stitch in the next stitch. We make a single stitch. And here in the last chain, we make the increase. We place the stitch under the chain. We go through the center. We make the first stitch here. We go through again. And we complete the second stitch. We finish off, pull up this loop, pass from back to front under that chain, place the reserved loop, and take it to the back. As you finish the round, you will arrange the stitches, organize them well so that the base starts to take its shape. Here we finish the third and last round of the base with a total of 46 stitches. We work 14 stitches on each side, and here in the increases, we make 9 stitches in each increase section, working a sequence of single crochet, increase stitch, single crochet, increase stitch. With the reserved yarn, we are going to make a decoration in the center of the base with a slip stitch. We insert the hook into the space where we made the first increase and grab the yarn. We bring it forward. And we are going to insert the hook into these spaces here. We insert the hook into the next space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and here we are going to slip the first loop into the one we already had. We insert the hook into the next one. We yarn over. We slip. We insert the hook into the next space. Don't tighten this stitch too much. Insert the hook into the next one and make a slip stitch, always keeping the height at the level of the little loop we have on the hook, so the stitch doesn't close up. We make the last stitch here, Go through the center, yarn over, lift up, and slip here. Pull the yarn out, adjust it well, and pass the hook from back to front through that last space. We take the yarn and bring it to the back. With the help of a thinner needle, we're going to hide the yarn under the stitches. At the end, underneath at the tip, you're going to put a drop of silicone or make a simple stitch with needle and thread, then cut off the excess. And you hide the tip. We finish hiding the yarn, and this is how you're going to hide all the other yarn ends in this project. I'm going to give you the measurements. It ended up being 22 centimeters long. It's 7 centimeters wide. If you want to make the base a little longer, at the beginning in the chains, you're going to increase by 2s until you reach the desired length. We started with 17, but you can increase to 19, 21, or 23. But remember that the base should always end with an even number. And if you want to make the base a little wider, here, you should continue the rounds following the increase sequences, so the process will be much easier for you. In the video description, I left you the sequence for round number 4, number 5, and number 6. Now, to finish the base, we are going to attach the metal hardware, one at the beginning of the chains and another at the end. We place it here, pass it through that space.
Yeah.
And here at the back, we're going to open the legs, one in front and the other behind. We tighten it very well and pass the other one into the next space. Now we have finished the base. Look how beautiful it is, how elegant the slip stitches make it look, and see how luxurious it looks with the stitch markers. It's a base with a very good structure, impeccable, and look, all the stitches are the same size. Now we're going to work on the body of the bag. We'll be making it with the centered stitch, with diagonal increases. This pattern is known as the fantasy stitch, and the result is very beautiful. We're going to take the base with the right side facing up. Look, it's facing up, and we turn it like this. And here, where the ridges are, is the back part. This should be facing up. We place the chains here and the strand where we finished the previous round. Look, this little loop has 2 strands. We go through the center, from back to front. Here, we insert the hook. We turn. We place the reserved little ear on the needle. We close. And we are going to adjust the stitch until the yarn left at the bottom looks the same size as the other chains. We tighten it very well. Yarn over, pull through both, and here we give it a little height by closing the stitch. We start this pattern by making 2 stitches in the same space, and we are going to follow a sequence where we work 2 stitches in each stitch, leaving 1 stitch free. As we do it, Marie, insert the needle again into the space where we made the first stitch here. Take the yarn, lift it up, and close. Here, we already have the 2 stitches. For the next one, you're going to insert the needle into the center of the second chain. We're not going to work into the one right next to it. Instead, count 1, and in the second one, insert the needle into the center. Here, we pick up the top strand and the loop that's at the back here. We skip the next chain, and in the following one, we go through the center, picking up the top strand and the ridge that's at the back. This is the little ridge. We count one here and go through the center of the second chain. And underneath the back bump, we yarn over and go forward, pull up a loop, and close the stitch. We insert the hook again into that stitch, making an increase here. It looks like an increase. But since we're not working into the next stitch, this double stitch makes up for the space we left empty. So we insert the hook into that stitch. And here we make the second one. We count 1. And in the next chain, we make the stitch, passing through the center. And under the back bump, we yarn over. We pull it up to the height of the loop on the hook, and here we close the stitch. We insert the hook again into that space. We pull up a loop and complete the second stitch here. We count 1, skipping the next chain, and in the second one we make the stitch. I recommend always counting 1, and then in the second, 1 and then in the second. And that way you'll be able to keep the sequence. We yarn over. Here we pull up a loop and close the stitch. We make the second one. We count here 1 and 2. We make the first stitch. And we complete the second one. This is the process that we'll keep repeating in this first round. Look at how the sequence of stitches looks. 2 single crochets. In the same stitch, we skip the next chain, and in the following one, we make 2 stitches. We work 2 stitches again, skip the chain, work 2 stitches, skip the chain, work 2 stitches. We continue doing the sequence all along the edge until we reach the last stitches. I got here to the last 3 chains. On this side, I work 2 stitches. I count 1, and in the second chain, I go through the center. I make the first stitch, go through again, and complete the second stitch. Here, we have 1 chain space left between these 2 stitches. And see how with this one, the sequence closes correctly. This means that we have done the whole process very well. We haven't missed or added any stitches. That's because we work the base with an even number. Remember that we finished the base with 46 stitches. And in the same way, we are going to finish this first row, the one going up, with 46 stitches. Let's do the closing. We lift this loop, pass the needle under the first complete chain from back to front, place the reserved little ear on the needle, and take it to the back. This is how we are going to close all the rounds in this project. I'll show you from this side how the stitch pattern turned out. Look how pretty it is. Here we divide the base of the bag's body, leaving this strand when you finish a round. Don't forget to keep adjusting the stitches. This is how your piece should be looking. Don't worry if you see that this twists a little. Remember, we're working with our hands, and it's normal for this to happen. As we keep going up, the piece will start to take its shape. We're going to start round number 2, and I want you to pay close attention to the process, because here the stitches change a little. We position ourselves here where we've brought the yarn to the back. And to make the first stitch, we're not going to do it under the stitch where we close the round, but instead we position ourselves in the second stitch. Look, it's the chain that's here on this side. See, it's the chain where we brought the yarn to the back. But here, we're not going to take the stitch that's right under the yarn, but the one that's under the chain. So we count one, and in the second one, we're going to insert the needle into the center of that stitch. Here, we're going to lift this yarn a little to show you that underneath that yarn is the chain. So we're going to go through the center of the stitch and the center of the chain, picking up the top yarn. We go through the center of the stitch, lift the yarn a little, find the chain that's in the back, go through the center of that chain, and here we're going to grab it. We adjust this yarn a little. We set it aside, yarn over, and go forward. Place the reserved loop onto the hook. Yarn over, and pull through both. Here we've made the first stitch. Insert the needle again into the center of that stitch. Lift a little and do it right there in the same space where we worked the previous one. Yarn over. We give it height. And here, we close the stitch. We make the first stitch of the second round here, so we skip the first chain and work into the second one. We follow the same sequence. We skip the first chain and work into the second one, but notice that it's on top of the second stitch from the previous round. So we count 1 and 2, go through the center, lift the yarn a little, and find the chain that's underneath. We go under the chain. Like this, we yarn over. We raise the height and make the stitch. In that same stitch, we make the second one. We count 1, and in the second chain, we repeat the process. We go under the strand. We locate the chain. We go through the center, inside. First stitch, and we repeat the always keeping it level with the loop on the hook so that all the stitches come out even. We yarn over. We close the stitch. We move to the next one. We count 1 and 2. Under the yarn. And in the center of the chain, sigh. We make the last stitch here. We count 1 and 2. We go under this strand here. And here at the end, look here, where the chain is. Sigh. We go through again. Sigh. We complete the last point here. We finish it off. We give height to this little ear. And we pass the needle under the first chain from back to front. Look, the finish is the same as the one we did in the previous round. We tighten here. And with this, we finish the second round up the sides. Now we start round number 3, just like we started the previous one. Notice we've moved the yarn to the back. We pass the needle through. In the center of the second stitch. Here, just underneath the strand. We lift it up a little bit. And underneath will be the chain stitch. You go through the center of the chain stitch. It should come out here. Look, there are 2 strands, 1 and 2, in the center of those 2 strands. You adjust the little ear, just a little bit, so it's nice and tight. Here, you set it aside. You take a strand. You bring it forward. You place the reserved loop on the hook. You arrange the stitch here very well. You yarn over and pull through both. We make the first stitch here. We pass the hook through again. We yarn over and complete the second stitch. Notice that we've opened it in such a way that there isn't any visible mark on the piece. We continue following the same pattern. We count 1, and in the second chain we make the stitch. We go through the first strand, from underneath. And here is the chain stitch. We go through the center of the chain stitch. And look, it comes out here in the back, between the 2 strands. You make the first stitch. And you complete the second one. You move on to the next one. You count 1 and 2. You pass under the strand. And in the middle of the chain stitch. It comes out here. In the middle of these 2 strands, or 2 little ridges, look. You make the first stitch, and you complete the second one. See how simple the process is. We're going to continue working the rounds this way until we reach the desired height. I've finished the bag's height, and look, here we can appreciate the stitch pattern much better. We can notice how we've been going up diagonally, and the stitches are well organized. They all look even and the same size. On this side, I'll show you where we've made the closure, and we've opened each round. Look, the piece is seamless, and the closure is perfect. On the inside part, look, we don't have a very noticeable scar either. It blends in very well. And on the inside, look how spacious the bag turned out. I made a total of 19 rounds here. I'm going to show you how to identify them. We position ourselves here at the first round going up, and we can notice where these strands are. We're going to count diagonally, one on top of the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Let's continue. So far, we have 19 centimeters in height and 27 centimeters in width. If you want to make the bag a little taller, keep working the rows until you reach the desired height. We are not going to cut the yarn because we are going to do one last round with single crochet. You are going to take the inner strand from the skein or the spool, and we are going to use it to make the handles. We are going to leave a strand about 40 centimeters long to sew it to the half moon ring. Here, we make a slip knot. And we make a little chain. We are going to work the little handle with the Turkish stitch. Look, here we have the chain stitch, and at the bottom is the slip knot. We are going to pass the hook here through the strand of the slip knot. Under that strand. We pass the needle through. From front to back. We take a strand. We bring it forward. And we raise it to the height of the little ear that's on the hook. We yarn over and pull through both. This is how it will look. And see that on this side we have the stitch, and underneath there's this little bump. We pull from right to left. We pass the needle under the small ridge. We take the yarn. We go through the first little loop. We pull through and raise it to the level of the little loop that's on the hook. Here we have 2 strands left. We yarn over and pull through both. Here we've made 1 stitch. And on this side, we can already see that we have 2 little ridges. We pull from right to left. And we're going to pass the hook under those two little ridges. We pass the hook through. We take the yarn. We go through the first two. We pull it up at the level of the loop that's on the hook. We yarn over and close. We pull from right to left. We pass the hook under those two little ridges. We yarn over and go through both. We lift up and close the stitch. We repeat the process. We turn from right to left. We go under the two little bumps. We take the yarn. We go under the first two here. We lift it up and close the stitch. See how the process is very simple. We pull again. We go under the two little bumps. We gain height. We yarn over and close the stitch. I finished the length of the sleeve. I love how this stitch pattern looks. It's beautiful. It gives a lot of firmness and structure to the sleeve, counting from this little ridge. Up to this last one, I made a total of 31 ridges. You can make the handle as long as you want. I'm going to stop here. Now let's cut the yarn. We pull it out here. We tighten it. With a yarn needle, we're going to do the stitching. We take the ring with the crescent facing down. We place it here on the back of the handle. We pass the needle inside, arranging the yarn here. We pass it here, under this little bump. We arrange the strand and take it back again. And we're going to be stitching around it. We go through that space again. We go through here on this side. Here we come out under this strand. We tighten it very well. We go under this little bump, and here we're going to start hiding the strand in the handle. We hide it here in these spaces. Here on the inside part. You are going to put a drop of silicone or make a small stitch so that the thread doesn't come out later. Remember, the handle supports the bag's weight. And as the thread stretches, it can start to come out. So right here at the bottom, you make a stitch. Cut off the excess. And hide the tip. Here's how the half-moon ring seam turned out. You're going to repeat the process on this side. The length without the rings, 32.5 centimeters. With the rings, 36 centimeters. In width, 2.5 centimeters. For the bag, I will need 2 handles. So let's make another one just like this. We already have the handles ready. Let's continue with the process. We'll set these aside. Let's take the bag. And we're going to mark the spots where we'll place the zipper and position the handles. So what do? We position the bag carefully. So that one dot is right in front of the other. And here in the corners, we'll have a chain stitch left. Look here where you can see the other one. Here we're going to be placing markers. After the marker, here we're going to be counting 23 stitches up to the stitch where the marker is. And after this marker, on this side, we're going to have 23 stitches up to the stitch where the next marker is. Remember that here on the surface, we have a total of 46 stitches. Now we're going to be counting the chains to place the zipper. So after the marker, we're going to count 1, 2, and 3 stitches. 3. We place a marker. And on this side, we're going to count 3 stitches before the marker. 1, 2, and 3. I've already placed the markers on this side. Here, I also counted after the corner marker. 1, 2, and on the third one, I placed the marker. Same on this side. 1, 2, and on the third one, I placed the marker. So now we already have the stitches marked. Where we are going to place the slider. From this marker to this one, we have 18 points. So, to place the handles. After the corner marker, we're going to count 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On this side, we repeat the process. Before the marker, we count 5 points 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We place the marker here. We already have all the markers placed where we are going to put the slider and where we are going to place the handles. If you make the bag bigger, it's up to you to choose where you want to place the handles or where you want to start sewing the zipper. That will depend on the size. We are going to place the zipper like this. First, we measure from the point where we are going to start sewing to the next point, here. With a pencil, I'm just going to mark this spot a little. We already have the spot marked on the zipper where the seam is going to go. We make a slip knot. And we will crochet the 18 chains. Try to give each chain a little bit of height, so it doesn't end up too small. I've already finished the 18 chains. We place the chain on the slider. Here. We've already made a chain in the air. We pull out the thread. We secure the first chain, leaving a space between the shuttle and the chain so it can move freely. We pass the pin through. Make sure it's right in front of the point we marked. We place the pin at the next end, placing it directly below our marked point. And here, we're going to even out the chain stitch by placing pins in the center. Before you start sewing, make sure the slider is a good distance away from the chain, so that it can move smoothly. We turn, and we're going to work on the seam in the back. I'm going to do it with thread and needle. We start here. It's a simple stitch. After you remove a pin, stretch the chain a little bit. Arrange it here like this. And look at the edge of the slider. I'm sewing it here all along the edge of the fabric. I'm sewing. Always. I make a stitch forward, and then I go back. This is so it doesn't unravel. Here, I'm going to finish off the seam. I finished sewing the second chain. Look how the slider looks. Here in the back, under the edge of the slider, I applied a little bit of liquid silicone to reinforce the spots. And look how it stays nicely closed, well sealed. I was using this one, which is for school use. You can use whichever one you have available. Now we're going to sew the zipper and the handles. We position ourselves here on the bag and on the strand we've set aside. I've decided to cut it so that the process seems much simpler. Why? Because I know there are girls who are new, and I don't want you to get confused when doing the next step. So it's best to cut here on this side. I'm going to show you here how you're going to close this round. Look, here you have the little loop from the last stitch. Pull the yarn out and pass the needle through under the first chain stitch from back to front. Take the yarn and place it on the hook and take it to the back. Here, we're going to make a chain stitch that matches the others. So here, in the last stitch, you're going to pass the needle through the center from back to front, also going under this little ridge. Take the yarn. Take it to the back, and look, we've already formed a chain here. Let's adjust it so it's the same size as the others. Look how this closure turned out. Adjust it a little more. And we're going to hide this leftover strand under the stitches, just like we hid the strand at the base. We pass the strands we've set aside here through the stitches where we're going to place the slider. Remember that we locate that stitch by counting after the stitch that's right at the corner. 1, 2, and 3. Here. We go under that chain. We take the strand and bring it forward. After the corner marker, look, we've counted 1, 2, and 3 here at the marker. Let's have the handles ready because we're going to place them here in the center. We'll begin sewing at the bag's corner. We remove the marker. We insert the hook under the entire chain. And we grab the yarn, leaving a little tail to hide under the stitches. We chain 1 and do it here. And the first stitch. We're going to work this round entirely with single crochet, and we insert the hook under the next chain, and we insert the hook. Like this. We insert the hook. We yarn over. We draw up a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook. We yarn over and pull through both. We insert the hook under the next chain. And we make the stitch here. Here on this side, look, we already have the yarn tail from the zipper. What are we going to do here? We're going to start arranging it. We open it up a little here to make sewing easier. Here. This first chain where the yarn is matches the first chain on this side. Under this chain. And we will pass the needle through the chain in front. From back to front in the center of the chain. Here. The next stitch. We go under the whole chain. And under the strand of the chain that's in front. Taking only the top strand. Here, where the marker is where we will start placing the handles. But we continue sewing the zipper. Each chain stitch must match the chain stitch in front of it. We pass the needle under the next chain stitch. And under the strand of the chain stitch in front, from back to front, we go through the center of the chain stitch. Here. We yarn over. We adjust the stitch. Here we add height. And we close. We go under the chain here and under the strand across from it. We make the stitch there. Look at how the seam looks on this side, here, where the marker is. Let's put on the handle. You're going to take the handle. Put the side you want to leave in front. Either side is fine, so we place it here, where the marker is. We pass it through the half-moon ring, under the chain stitch, and from the strand that's in front. We go through all of them. We chain up, and we make a stitch. We pass the needle through the crescent. And in the stitch that's in the back, we place the chain stitch here in the slider. We yarn over, and here we make a single crochet. We pass the needle under the next chain stitch. And in the chain stitch that's in the back, we've reached the stitch before the marker. And here, we're going to place the next ring. We place the handle here. Make sure it's nice and straight. We go through the stitch that's before the marker, first inside the ring, and then through the stitch. And here, we place the strand that's behind. Here. We pull through all of them. And we make a single crochet. Here we remove the marker. We pass the needle through the ring and into the chain stitch, also positioning the strand that's behind. We make the stitch here, and we gather it up. And look, here we are already finishing the zipper seam. And we have 2 stitches left, 1 and 2. And on this side, we also have 2 stitches left. We can remove the thread now. We pass under the chain stitch. And from the thread that's in the back. Oh! Here on the last one. Now we can take that strand inside. And on this side, we're going to work regular single crochet until we get here where the next strand is. We've arrived at the next strand. We go underneath. And we find the chain here. Look at this. It's the closing chain. We position ourselves here, the next one. We go through all of them. And we make a single crochet. We arrange it on this side. We go under the next chain. And under the strand that's in the back. We make a single crochet. Here where the marker is, we're going to place the next handle. We work single crochet until we reach the stitch before the next marker. We've reached the stitch before the marker. Here we place the ring. We make sure the handle is nice and straight. We place the ring underneath. We insert the needle. And we make the stitch here. Here on this side, we're going to make the last 2 stitches of the zipper. And look, these are the last 2 stitches on this side. We go under the chain and under the strand that's behind. Here in the last stitch. And here on this side, we have 2 stitches left to finish the round. We go under the chain. Under the next one. We pull up this loop. We finish off this round. And we start one last round with a slip stitch to give the final touch to the edge of the bag. We pass the needle through. Under the first chain. Look, it's from back to front. We take the reserved loop. We move it to the back. And look, this one has 2 strands. Now we pass the needle between those 2 strands. From front to back, we place the little ear on the needle. We tighten it until the bottom strand is the same size as the other chains. We pass the strand underneath all of them. Now we have a little loop on the needle. Thank you. And here we're going to pass the needle through the center of the chain. We pass the needle through the center of the next chain. We yarn over and pull through that. We lift up, and here we slip the first one into the little loop we already had. We insert the hook into the center of the next chain. We yarn over, bring it forward, and slip stitch here. We go through the center of the next one, yarn over. We lift up and slip. Try to give the little ear some height so that the slip stitch doesn't end up too tight. Here's how our stitches look. We're going to work 1 stitch in the center of each chain until we reach the last one. We pass the needle through the center of the chain. We take the yarn. We raise it to the height of the little loop that's on the hook, and here we slip. We cut the yarn on this side. We pull it out. We pass the needle under the first chain from back to front. We place the yarn on the needle and take it to the back. Here we are going to be closing it, simulating a chain stitch. Here we use a thinner needle to help us and pass it through the center of the last chain stitch. From back to front, also under the little ridge. Here. We take the strand. We take it back. Here we tighten it a little bit. We finished the last 2 rounds, the single crochet and the slip stitch. And look how the edge of the bag turned out. We're going to hide these yarn tails under the stitches, either on the outside or the inside, just like we did before. I finished hiding all the yarn tails here on the zipper, at the ends. If you have end caps, you can place one on each end. If not, don't worry, we're going to do a simple seam. This is how it should look. Repeat the process on the other side. We turn here to the slider. Here we test it, and look how it closes perfectly. We open it. We close it again. Now we're going to add the tassel. If you're new and don't know how to do it, I'll leave the step-by-step link in the video description. The bag ended up weighing 556 grams without the hardware, including the handles. That's the exact amount of material I used for the project. And this can vary depending on the thickness of the material, the tension applied to the bag, and the size. In height, 20.5 centimeters. In height with the handles, 34 centimeters. In width, 28 centimeters. We've reached the end of the class. See you in the next step-by-step. God bless you. Bye!